My name is Bill Haley, and this is for competitive representative agencies. So, changing how Americans are represented in government. So, we do this at the local level, the state level, and the federal level. So, what I want is to people to have the ability to join a organization called a competitive representative agency. Um, and if they have at least 5% of the citizens of your jurisdiction, your locality, your state government, or the full federal government, they get to create their own representative agency. So you, as a citizen, together with 5% of the other citizens, you get governmental power just by grouping together and saying, we are 5%, we're at least 5%, and I limit it to 20%. Um, and we want representative agency. We want our own representative agency. Then that 5, 6, 7, whatever percent, 10, 15, 20%, they get to send, let's say you have 15%, you get to send 15% of the representatives up to the legislative body. And if you have 14.38%, you get 14.38% of the legislative vote. So your representatives, you can send up as many representatives as you want, but all the representative strength is that 14.38, whatever you have. So if somebody leaves, you have a little bit less representative power. If somebody changes, somebody joins your representative agency and you have a higher percentage now, you go from 12% to 13% because they like the way you're doing things. They now have not just 12% representative strength, they have 13%. So that's highly important to understand. Somebody can join one of these and no longer have to worry about having to worry about, is this guy a good guy or not? Should I vote for him or not? No, they have a mission statement. They have a set of values. They have a set of beliefs and principles that they said that they're going to follow, and that representative agency is going to look for candidates to I say candidate, a person that's going to represent those values and those principles and has a long track record of doing that. Then they send that representative up there with those values. So you don't have to sit there and worry about who I'm going to vote for, or whether this guy's a good guy or not, or I like him for 70% of the stuff but not 90 or 100%. Hey, I only like him 20%, but the other guy only like 10%. So you get some of those situations right now. But if you can gather around with 10% of your fellow citizens, now you get to have a person representing you that will match that 10%. So you have well over 90% of your issues represented by this person. So highly important on that. Part of the competitive governance, or it can be on its own. So I do competitive government, where everybody can pick their government. So that's part of having having competitive representative agencies is part of competitive government, because your competitive government is going to be your representative agency. They're going to send representatives up to the next level, to this monopolized societal oversight role. And they get to do only a little bit of things that must be done. The chief of police, the commander of the military, the top diplomat, the things that really need to be done at a monopolized level. Most things in government should be done at a competitive government level, which in reality it can act almost as free enterprise, because in free enterprise you pay for what you get for. You select what grocery store you go to, and you get the benefits from that grocery store, the food. Same thing with here. You select what government you're going to go with, and you get the benefits from that. Some government's going to be greater taxes and more benefits. Other one's going to be lower taxes, lower benefits. Every citizen gets to decide for themselves. Let's go back to competitive representative agency. So it can be on its own, or it can be within the current system. So you can have the current monopolized government we currently have, and you can still do the system. So many people are going to pick and forget, and some people will stay active. So they're going to pick and forget, and maybe look at it on occasion. They have their own lives to live, but they know that they have a representative up there. So they don't have to sit there and stay active all the time. But they're going to get regular reports and about what their representatives are doing, just like they do currently right now. But I know that even the people I vote for, 70-80% of the things that they do, I'm not liking. But I just know I'll dislike their opponent on the other side of the aisle even more. So at least I get 20 or 30% of what I want versus 3 or 4% of what I want. Okay, so a lot of think tanks will be prominent in this area. Some of the one on the left would be the Brookings Institute. On the right, you would have the Heritage Foundation, and there's dozens of others. Center for American Progress, American Enterprise Zone. There's dozens of big organizations out there, and each one will probably try to get a representative agency. So all these Brookings Institute and Heritage Foundation, they both say that they're think tanks, that they want to affect public policy, and they definitely have different points of views. So people who like the left, they can go with the Brookings Institute. People who like the right, they can go with the Heritage Foundation. Republican Party and the Democratic Party will still probably be there representing their people, and but they're going to be divided up more now. So people on the left and people on the right, they're constantly having battles. I want somebody more left or more right. I want somebody in different. They have to compromise, and some people think that compromise is good. Sometimes compromise is good. However, it's also good to have a representative to represent your values, not having to have somebody represent only 30% of your values, just so you don't get that person that represents 5 or 6% of your values. So you can find an organization that you trust and let them decide who your leaders are going to be, because they're going to have the time to really do that research and hold those leaders accountable. And some of these representative agencies can have, you don't have to say, hey, you're serving for 2 or 6 years. No, they can serve at will, serve at the will of the representative agency. If the representative agency says, I don't like what you're doing, we can pull you. We'll put somebody else there because they're a representative agency. They can do that. And because that representative agency is going to represent the members, those 5, 10, 15%, they're members that join that representative agency. So the representative is going to have to try to stay true to the values of that agency, or they can be replaced. Some people will say, hey, we're going to have a term, 2, 4, 6 years. Some people will say, you're out of our will. You do what we want you to do, and then you get to stay as a representative. So each person gets to change organizations if they wish. Your competitive representative agency is not doing what you want them to do, and they get to change that at will. Now, there might be certain ones that have a term. I need you to sign up for a year, 2 years, whatever. You know that going into a representative agency, but most of the time you can change at will. The best policymakers and deep experts usually do not make the best campaigners. So the people who are out there campaigning the best, they're campaigners. They might not know the best way to, they might have not done the major research on the best policy. They might not have that 10, 15, 20 years of experience in that one industry, that one part of government. Let's say prisons. What's the best prison policy? Are they in it for 20 years? Working throughout the whole system and seeing it from every aspect and everything? Those people are probably not the best campaigners. The best campaigners are the best campaigners. So we're going to have a division of labor. The people who are really good at campaigning, going out there on the stump and talking, going out there and making speeches, going out there and on TV shows and podcasts and different things, they're going to be the campaigners. They're going to bring people to the your representative agency. But then they're going to have the deep policy makers, the people who have a lot of education, a lot of experience in this matter, who have done things, who have seen a lot of things change over the years. They're going to be the ones actually doing the representing the one doing the bureaucracy, the ones doing the different parts of government. So we're going to allow the competitive representative agencies to hire campaigners to gain your membership. Then hire other people to be the experts with deep education experience in policy making. So that's on the legislative branch, the policy making. And the other one would be to run the administration. So representative agencies will also staff the administration to some degree. I don't know exactly how that's going to work right now in the current system. The way it will work in the competitive government system, I do know that your competitive government will hire its own staff. So they're going to hire people with like-minded, with the values of that administration, the values of that competitive government. But others that can run the administration. So we want campaigners to campaign, policymakers to be steeped in education, experience, and actually getting things done and having good results. So a lot of things can be found at Haley2024.org. Until the next video.